Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me and joining us for the virtual launch of the Latino Leadership Playbook. I'd like to thank you for taking your time this evening to be able to join us in the celebration, right? A celebration of all the contributions of the collective team that had contributions to the Latino Leadership Playbook. Let me introduce myself. My name is Greg Macias. I am honored to be your MC for this evening and guide us through the robust program that the team has pulled together. I'm looking forward to celebrating with you, celebrating this exciting time for all of us to come together and have an opportunity to really just discuss, right, this opportunity that we have in front of us, and be able to just celebrate this wonderful milestone that Ref and the contributors have made. Just let me take a moment, if I can, to reflect, right, in this journey. I know that the contributors and Ref have been on a journey for in the cafeteria at AbbVie. I'm honored to call Ref a colleague and a friend. We were having lunch one day, and he's very involved in the Ahora ERG at AbbVie. And he started getting into the statistics of all the different presence of Latinos throughout the Latino community, throughout the different corporate America, and he noticed a gap, right? And he said, we need to do something. And of course, me, I was like, well, how can I do something, right? But Ref took this upon himself to tackle this challenge. Job. The cafeteria, just bouncing ideas off each other. He's bounced, questions and why I think there's a gap, and why I feel, the way I do in terms of supporting Latino the community, and what I can do, and more importantly, what he can do, because he did take on this challenge. And as we're having these conversations, you can see the passion that he exudes. He is talking about this very important topic, and he wanted to be able to come together with put together a playbook. He said, what if we had a playbook? What if we had this idea of all these different concepts that we can go to a one-stop shop and be able to reference, right? A playbook that can guide someone through their career, not only from early career, but also throughout your career as you go on your career journey. We are all on our journeys to support our families, and again, he took it himself to be able to put this playbook together, and it's this playbook that I have right here that I'm showing on the screen, and of course it's kind of hard to see, but you can see in the top left corner of my of the screenshot here is it's a playbook. This is something that you can bring with yourself throughout your career. This isn't a read the entire book in one-stop shop and that's it, right? This is a reference in a playbook you can continue to reflect upon and go back to as you expand throughout your career journey. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your engagement in this exciting time. And please participate in the virtual launch of the Latino Leadership Playbook. If we can please see the agenda, I'd like to walk you through the program that we'll go through. And then from there, we'll begin opening remarks. So in terms of the virtual launch party, we'll go through an agenda. We will have the welcome, opening remarks with Ref, Jackie, and Yai. We'll talk. Me and Ref will have an opportunity to do some Q&A, or I like to call them fireside chats. We can have a little Q&A session that we can ask each other some questions and get really a little bit further deeper into what motivated Ref to do this. We've got a number of contributors on the call, and we can like to get their feedback into their participation and their guidance into the Latino Leadership Playbook. We'll ask the audience for some Q&A, and then we'll end it with some closing remarks. So without further ado, again, looking forward to guiding us through this packed agenda and packed program. So without further ado, Ref, please, I open the floor to you for your opening comments.
All right, thanks, Greg. I really appreciate the kind words, and you know this journey that I've been on more than anything, or more than anybody, I should say. So thank you for everything, and thank you for emceeing this, and thank you for teeing us up. This is an incredibly special moment for me, and hopefully for all of us in the Latino community to advance ourselves, right? That's the whole point of this whole thing. If we don't advance ourselves, this means nothing. So all of us taking ownership of our careers, the careers of others, anybody we touch is really the key here. If we can go to the slide, team, if we can pull up that first one, please. Thank you. And I'll get into kind of an intro about me. Yeah, so, as you know, I'm the author of the Latino Leadership Playbook. One of kind of my core tenets, my North Star is standing out, and that's the way we accelerate in the workplace. And that's the way I created the book. And you see at the top, it says, I get real fast. For those of you who know me and work with me, I'm very direct, very results focused, very action focused. That's I wrote, I was going to write. Many of the contributors, they're like, well, you need data, you need background, you need stories, right? We love stories. And I'm like, fine, we'll do all that. And so now we have a great comprehensive book, and you have, 59 of the most influential business leaders around the world, Latina, Latino, non-Latino. It's really a great mix, and it's a book. It's really a toolkit, and it's a toolkit of insights to what Greg said. This is like a Harvard Business Review you carry with you for your career. It's not something you read and put to the side. That's not the way this works. It's something that you refer to, and you don't have to read it all at once. You dive deep on the topics that are relevant for your development at that point in time. So again, it's meant for you. It's very focused on everything you need to be a impact player in the workplace, and hopefully just to stand out and to really make an impact in your job and accelerate your career. Next slide, please. So as we go to the next slide here, coming up here shortly. Just a little bit about me. As I introduced, I'm, to Greg's point, I'm involved in the Latino leadership, or Latino ERG. I'm involved with DEI, so I really, support all underrepresented populations, not just Latinos, but I lead with Latinos since I'm Mexican. Born, raised Chicago, but leadership is really important to me. I like to think I developed Latino leaders. I understand the Latino culture, the psyche, and some of our struggles. Just going back 6 years, I had the same struggles and frustrations. Everybody was getting promoted around me, and I'm like, why? And after talking to another senior leader, a Latina, she's like, well, you gotta look the part and you gotta act the part. And so I worked on my image, I worked on my communication, my executive presence, my political savviness, and I started becoming more bold with my perspectives and bringing those to the table. And I saw that these things were working and working well. And so fast forward to now, I've practiced, and I failed, by the way, while practicing, but that's okay. But I've mastered a lot of these things. And so that's what also inspired me to write this book, is being able to showcase and share these insights, and I call them really tactical insights that you can use as well to accelerate in your career. I do a lot of mentoring. A lot of Latinas, reach out for mentoring. But when I mentor them, it's the same playbook, and I go through these elements, and then I start seeing them get promoted. So it's something special that we have here, and it's not just my perspectives, but it's the insights, again, of some of the most powerful and proven minds as far as our contributors. So looking forward to that. Finally, when it comes to the contributors, I really want to thank each and every one of you. I know we've had plenty of discussions, plenty of kind of banter and storytelling. But I really appreciate all the contributors for really leaning into advance the Latino community, and everybody who's joining this call. It shows me that you're in this as well for the right reasons and to develop yourselves. And again, anybody you touch. So with that, I just want to say thank you, for everything. Hopefully you enjoy the contributors' insights and stories and what they're going to share for you. And then at the end of this, I'll do some closing remarks and making sure that we answer any questions, and then how do we set the path forward for maximum impact for your career and the career of others, and how can we unite and come together to advance everybody? So with that, Greg, thank you, and I'll let you go on to the next speaker. Thank you.
Okay, Ref, thank you, and I do appreciate in your closing remarks, right? You're talking about that call to action, right? The call to action to help lift each other and other Latinos in our community to those higher levels of leadership and displaying those leadership skills that you identified in this playbook. So, with that said, Jackie, I'd like to open the floor to you for your opening remarks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be here with all of you. And just to give you some factoids, this book is the biggest book that we've ever done. Imagine 452 pages of pure wisdom that is shared by all of you, and action-packed, beautiful, filled with all of the things that a leader needs to continue to evolve and grow. It's 62 contributors, over 127,000 words. I mean, this might as well be an encyclopedia of leaders. I mean, what Refugio has done is absolutely remarkable in the world of authorship, in the world of the magic that is being created here. It's significant, and I just want us to the work, the commitments, the sleepless nights, the millions of micro moments that our fearless author, Refugio Atilano, to put in to bring us all together. I mean, that is remarkable. And I know that this amazing playbook is supposed to be the resource for Latino leaders in corporate America and beyond. And all of you contributors are part of this. I mean, I could not be more honored as a Latino, women-owned publishing company to be in collaboration with Refugio and all the amazing conversations that we've had, from the covers to the design to the you see a beautiful product of life. And I want to give a big shout out to our team, Factor Media, because my COO, who's on the call, Gabby Hernandez French, flew to Ohio, drove 5.5 hours to bring the amazing book, every one of those books that are almost 500 pages, back to Chicago so we can be at the amazing celebration in Chicago back in October 6th. I mean, it seems like 3 weeks ago, but I just want to commend you, Refugio, for your leadership. I want to commend you for your commitment. I don't want this to go unnoticed. The breadth and the extensive this incredible play-by-play blueprint for Latino leaders is just remarkable. And I want to commend all of you, contributors, all of you, for extending your soul, for sharing your wisdom, for sharing all of your tips. And I'm just so proud, and I know this is going to continue to elevate people, leaders around the world, and it's going to make leaders. And that's what I'm really excited about. So with that, back to you, Greg. Amazing job, and congratulations with you.
Thank you, Jackie, for your perspective, right? Your perspective of all, it does take a village, as you may hear, for something like this to come together, and to see the collective efforts of everyone and seeing it come together, and being here today, just 10 in reps, he noticed a gap, right? And being able to turn that into this book and this playbook is a wonderful milestone. So again, the collective efforts are what we're here to celebrate. So if I can, I'd like to pass this on to Yai for her opening remarks.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate that. Hi, everyone. My name is Yai Vargas, and my full-time role is the Vice President of Strategic Engagements at HASER, also known as the Hispanic Association. Leaders just like you here in the U.S., specifically around developing workshops, centered around our Latinx intersectionality, our identity, our cultural and emotional intelligence, our traditions, our nuances and experiences. Through my work at ACED, I had the opportunity to meet Refugio, who is one of my corporate strategic partners and now a good friend, who shared this big idea, like Greg mentioned, a big idea of interviewing and capturing the stories of professionals, some of which you'll hear from today. Refugio managed to capture their experiences, their challenges, and more importantly, their intention to pass on some of these solutions and anecdotes for success and impact in the workplace. Refugio asked me why I thought it was important to acknowledge and also offer this Latino representation in a book form. And I thought, what better way than to really take a moment to think of all of those micro moments, as Jackie loves to call it, that I've been through. And career trajectory. Those champions, those allies, those mentors, those sponsors that have helped me get through some really difficult workplace situations. Those people are the ones that I have to thank for getting me here in front of all of you and on paper. And so I took the time to really think about some of those techniques, those strategies, those moments, those micro moments, and I pulled them together here for all of you and for Refugio and Jackie and him. They did their magic, as they do. And we're making sure that these anecdotes and these solutions really make it to your hands and to the hands of those who are seeking advice on a wide range of topics that you're going to see through this entire playbook that sometimes you don't learn about from your upbringing, from your caretakers, from your community, from your parents, or even at school, however long you went to school. And so I had the privilege of writing the foreword to this incredible playbook, and I hope that you really take the time to acknowledge, take a moment to internalize how accomplished you really are, and to see what more you are capable of. And once you get through this playbook, I hope that you really pass it on. I hope that you feel energized. I hope that you feel confident, you feel comfortable, you feel that you know how to articulate your thoughts and your experiences and weave it into a beautiful story, the way that Jackie has a talent of doing so. And now Refugio has done just that with almost 60 individuals here, Latinx professionals, and that you're really encouraged and comfortable and confident to take on that next chapter in your incredible, beautiful journey. And so I'm so excited to be a part of this trajectory, to be a part of this story, and to be part of this network, because that's really what we're building here, making sure that now that we are in communication, in this story together, we work as a front to be able to give back to those who are seeking information. We've been there, and there are still areas of our career that we haven't yet touched upon, where we need advice and we need those champions and we need those allies. And now that we've formed this incredible group in this community, it's our self-reflection and really self-responsibility that we are going to take on to be able to share these stories, these anecdotes, these journeys with people who are seeking information and seeking better for themselves. I am so honored and deeply privileged to be in community with all of you, and I can't wait to see you all throughout not just the remainder of this year, but to and through 2024 and for 40 years to come after this. Thank you, Refugio and Jackie and Greg, for giving me the opportunity to be part of this story. And I'm so incredibly blessed to be able to hear everything that you are all continuing to build.
Thank you. Yeah, your words are truly inspirational, and I do appreciate your contributing to the playbook. You mentioned togetherness, and we are in this together, right? We are in this to lift each other up and go on our own lives and career journeys. But now we have a playbook, right? But with that said, I'd like to hear from Ref. I'd like to have some Q&A. Let's ask some questions and have the audience hear what really inspired you to write this book, right? What really made you, reach out to your network and really bring this to fruition with just a thought, some months ago. So with that, Ref, before we open up to Q&A, would you like to say anything before we start?
No, let's get rolling, Greg. In the spirit of time, we have a lot to cover. So let's get rolling on the Q&A.
Okay. All right. Well, the first question, Ref, what inspired you to write the playbook?
Yeah, a few things, but one of the things was primarily is to be honest, I listen to a lot of Latino videos or podcasts, etc. And I kept hearing the same thing over and over. Frustration about not getting promoted. I hear from my mentees not getting promoted, my boss doesn't like me, etc. Or how do we get we're under sponsored, over mentored. Again, a lot of the same themes. I'm like, I know how to do that, and how to advocate for yourself. Everybody's struggling with that. We're not comfortable with it. And I'm like, there's, first of all, do we even understand what that means? And then again, I know how to do some of those things, right? And so I just felt like, it's time to stop talking about it and it's time to start doing something about it. And I felt a responsibility, since I had the information, to do something about it. And the other thing too is, as I was writing, so that's what inspired me to take action. And so as writing the book, I always tell everybody, I always write, I wrote it as if I was going to give it to my 20-year-old self, 51 now, so, put it out there, it's fine. But, my 20-year-old self, I'm basically saying, because, I didn't have any mentors. I figured I was first generation and everything, right? I figured it out. And if you read the book, you'll see my struggles and all the failures, but also the successes. And so I wrote it to my 20-year-old self. I was like, here's everything you need to know, all in, no BS. You follow this roadmap, you will be an impact player in the workplace, you will be set. And the other analogy I like to use too is, for all of you who ever watched Back to the Future series, I'm hoping most of us did, there's the villain Biff, and he goes into the future and he steals the almanac of scores, all the sports scores, all the winners, right? And then he goes back in time and he gives his younger self all the scores so he can bet on it and be a rich man. That's basically what this book is. You have all of us in the future reaching back to everybody else and saying, this is a book of winners. You bet on these things, you practice, you apply yourself, you will be in a good position for your career. So to me, that's what keeps me going, just to know that this book, this resource, this toolkit can impact, literally, if we do this right, this can impact millions of Latinos across generations. And so that's what excites me and inspires me the most.
Really remarkable. Thank you for that response. Next question. What was the most challenging when you were writing the book?
Yeah, it was really two things. There was one is dealing with a growing book and the growing contributor list. Initially, I was going to have probably 7, 8 contributors. I was looking at some of Jackie's, work, from our previous books. I'm like, yeah, if I can get 7 or 8, that'll be fine. But the more I networked, the more I got introduced to just exceptional professionals. I see Kashitze John here. When I look at YouTube video, I was like, I gotta have that guy. Or I ran into Alina, and I was like, I gotta have her. She's such a mega super. My wife gave me an article about how to negotiate your pay or something like that, and I'm like, I gotta have this person, and I reached out to you. It was really, I had some sort of connection with you, and so anyhow, what was tough is kind of managing the people, but people as part of this So thank you all for that. The second piece is, as you know, I wrote this book in 10 months, literally 10 months, edits included. So like 9 months and so on. But literally every weekend, I do have a full-time job and I do that during the day, and I really didn't mess with the book during the week. But come the weekend, but very intense, and this is literally, I think I wrote every weekend except 2 years. So to me, that was extremely difficult. And for those of you who want to write a book, it's really about passion. In my experience, I wanted to make sure I provided a book, not just some insights, but really that connected with you. So I spoke passionately about my experiences growing up, about my culture in the work. Those things are extremely important to me. And as Latinos, we have superpowers. We're innovative. We're flexible. We'll move in with us, and you got to shift your life. You got to pivot quickly, and you make it work, right? That's what we do. It's the same thing in the workplace. Or we with limited resources, and same thing in the workplace. We're good at that stuff. And so I talk about those superpowers in the playbook. I think it's the closing chapter on how to use your superpower in the workplace. But as Latinos, we need to be aware of these things. We need to bring those to the table. We need to drive those, accelerate our career, and that's the I blend culture, corporate leadership all in one, specific for Latinos. So, Greg, I hope that answered your question.
Absolutely. You know what, Raf, you mentioned, the contributors and the growing list of contributors, that may have been a challenge to manage, right? But you managed it in a way that that became an asset, that became perspectives, right? Really, playbook kind of came together. So although I know it's a challenge, right? And I know that you have your day job and trying to get your day job done while you're doing this on a weekend. That what may have been a challenge was also a superpower for the Latino Leadership Playbook. So next question, what do you want people to take away from this?
Yeah, so a few things, and I know I'll do some closing comments, but make it real. This is not just a book you read and put to the side, like I said. For instance, I remember I was doing focus groups with Latinas. What's interesting is I didn't have how to ask for promotion or how to negotiate your salary. I just had a bunch of stuff that you should learn in applied leadership stuff. On me, and then even look at the numbers. Latinos make 54 cents on the dollar compared to the U.S. white male for the same, the same position. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get the baddest Latinas and some of the other HR folks to lean in on this, right? Because outside of my scope of expertise, but to give you everything you need to ask for that promotion and to negotiate that salary. Know that you need to negotiate your salary, right? As Latinos, we take the first thing we get because we want to be grateful. Unfortunately, our competition is negotiating while we're taking, the first thing available to us as a community. That I had that for everybody. So takeaways is, we'll talk about this more later, but get your book, but share the book with others. Get everybody to get their books, but apply yourself, practice, commit to the process. This is not a one and done. This is a years-long, career-long effort. This book should be with you at all times. Go deep on a couple of chapters a year, and go really deep. And then, master those things like executive presence, like being a strong communicator. Develop that confidence and squash and crush that imposter syndrome. The more confident impact your business in ways, and the more confident you are, that imposter syndrome you see starts to disintegrate pretty quickly. And then in the end, that's the goal, is to have these great confident workplace.
Great, thank you for your insights. One of the things, as I was reading parts of the playbook, is the practical application, right? You say, now take action, right? You give great examples of how throughout your career, as well as others have provided stories, right? That's what resonated the most with me is those, I'm not alone. I'm not in this alone, right? I haven't, haven't done this necessarily the right way. So it gives me a different perspective. And we all make mistakes in careers, but collectively, in the right direction. So those stories for me that resonated most. Last question before we move on to the next portion of the program. What's next?
Yeah. So for me, the product for me is the insights. The book is just a channel, a vehicle. Because Latinos were young, I think 15. I get that from Claudia. We are all human. Some of the great cover data in the book as well. But we're young, and we have these insights for all of us who are currently in corporate and some younger professionals, but also our college students coming up. I want to arm them to be workplace ready, leadership ready. When they hit the workplace, they are ready to go. They are competing at the highest levels with the non-Latinos, and so that's what's next for me is that student, college student population, and hopefully all HSIs can have a nice curriculum with some of these insights. So that's what's next for me. Thanks, Greg.
Very good, thank you. For those on the panel, I see a lot of head nodding. Right, I think we're all in agreement in terms of. Oh, okay. I would like to advance this now. If we can go to the contributor remarks, right? I mean, this is what I'm excited to hear about because I've been talking to Ref about the book or the playbook for some time. From the contributors. So if I can, I'd like to ask Marissa Solis to join us and provide some insights.
Greg, I don't think she's on it. You might want to go to Alina.
Okay. All right, Alina, floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Alina Moran. I hail originally from New York, but now in Los Angeles, California. So my day job is that I am the president and CEO at Dignity Health California Hospital Medical Center. And I also have the pleasure of serving as the national board chair for ASE, which is the Alliance for Career Enhancement. It's really the premier organization that is really helping educate, deploy, as well as inspire Latino professionals from an individual perspective, as well as from a professional perspective. I've had the opportunity to contribute around identifying and leveraging sponsors and mentors. And this is really key to me. Very similar story to Ref. As a first generation Latina, I really didn't have this as something that I knew about, right? I had role models, right, which were my family members and maybe older cousins, but I didn't understand how that was important in terms of leveraging my career or being able to kind of it really enhanced my development. And so what I contributed is really a clear understanding of the differences between what is a mentor versus a sponsor. And some key takeaways that I would just share is that for me, the opportunity to look at mentorship and sponsorship is really leveraging your existing network, right? We're all part of different organizations. We all have different perspectives that we bring to the table. And so I try to always encourage young leaders to be able to look at their network, the professors, family, friends, workers. Anyone can kind of serve as a mentor and a. The other key piece is that over mentored and under sponsored, right? And so the key thing is really thinking about how can I serve now in the role that I have as a leader? How can I serve as a sponsor? That I continue to strive to do, right? Whether that's my work within my own health system, in terms of leveraging that for future Latinos or professionals or individuals of color, but also in the work that we do with ASE, which is really around what are the leadership support Latino professionals. You're all the way to an executive leader. So I was very excited. I'm very thankful to Ref for giving me to serve as a contributor. And so that's really the story that I share and just my perspective of why it's so important for you to not only do that as playing it forward, but also the role that you have as a leader in creating that culture within your organization.
Okay, great. Thank you for your perspective. On the call, please feel free to.
I am on the call. Thank you very much, Greg. Good evening, everyone. My name is Delia Gutierrez McLaughlin. And hail myself from born and raised, first generation, and love that Alina, you came right before me because she is the president chair of ASE, and I am the former. So it's great to follow our fearless leader of us. You know, I'd like to take an opportunity. Thank you again, Raf, for including me in this phenomenal. A couple of years ago, well, I say it's a couple years ago, it's a little bit more than that. But back in 2018, I think 2019, when we both were at United Airlines in different roles, but in IT, and got to know him a bit there, and then we are human. When we talk about things that were involved, of ASE, now sitting on the mentoring committee, speaking of mentors, for High-Tech, the Hispanic IT Executive Council, and part of the strategic committee for We All Are Humans. So, you know, we all work ourselves to contribute in a variety of ways. And so, Ralph, I just want to thank you for the opportunity again, because it's been an honor to contribute and co-author the first chapter with him. We focus on how to work smart. And I have to say that Greg, both you and Ralph and Alina and Yai have already brought up a lot of similar points. But ones that I want to continue to focus on is when I look at this phenomenal rich book. It is, as you said, we really want to help those that come after us. You know what? This is investing in yourself. Okay. This is an investment in you. I'm going to use this book. All right. I'm a seasoned executive. I'm going to use this book. My lens is that I'm investing in myself no matter where I am in my career. And I can tell currently that is the climate. We're all here to make that not an issue any longer, right? I see myself as utilizing the wisdom, the content, as we continue to evolve, whether we're in corporate, whether we are in philanthropy, whether we are entrepreneurs, to continue to evolve within our own journey. So seasoned executive or not, don't you think I'm going to get ideas from this? Oh, absolutely. Provides such great insight, and it just makes you think about where you go, paths, etc. And as we continue to grow and evolve in our careers, Greg, you hit different issues. The issues don't, you know, they grow and they evolve, and they're different flavors, if you will. And so utilizing this book throughout your career, I can absolutely attest to, you will be able to utilize it through no matter where you are in your career, even when you pivot. And being able to leave this, and Ref, I'm sure you the most because you are the author of the book. This is legacy, all right? My quote that I always use and it's because it's so profound to me, is that legacy is not what I leave you. Legacy is what I teach you. And so all of us want to teach not only those that come, but those that stand beside us and those that stand in front of us.
Very good. Thank you for your inspiring words. Brenda, if you are on, please join us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Greg. Thank you, Refugio, for inviting me your wonderful panel this evening. My name is Brenda Sanchez Pineda. Soy Puerto Riqueña, born and raised in the Big Apple, and currently residing in Pennsylvania. Also co-author of Latinas Rising Up in HR Volume 2, and I know I have a couple of book sisters on here. I recently got promoted to Senior Director of Human Resources at Robertet, a flavor and fragrance manufacturer in the US and Canada, with its global headquarters in Grasse, in France, the fragrance capital of the world. My contribution to this magnificent playbook is centered around the art of asking for a promotion. As someone deeply involved in these conversations and scenarios on a daily basis, valuable insights into crafting a compelling case for promotion, which includes more than just performance reviews. It involves stepping up, leaning in, and becoming your own advocate. And that's very challenging for us at times, and mostly when we're younger and earlier in our careers. Recognizing the challenges that Latinos often face in asserting, one of the reasons this is so important for us to share, and so important for me to share. I believe in empowering all to overcome this barrier. My takeaway is clear. If you don't try, you'll never know. You want a guaranteed no? Don't try, don't do it, don't ask. And that advocating for yourselves. I believe everyone deserves the opportunity to rise and succeed, and that includes all of us, all of you on this call today. This is, for me, when I received it, it's the Bible. This is the Latino Leadership Bible. Like, we're never going to finish learning from this. We're never going to finish reading from it. Like Refugio mentioned, practice and read it. Be ready when it happens to you. There's so many times where you come across a certain scenario and you think afterwards and you say, I wish I would have said this. I wish I would have asked that question. This is going to prepare you, and you practice it in your head. So when it happens to you, you are prepared. Like Delia mentioned, challenges are not going to go away. They just change, but they're always going to come for you, and we'll be ready. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your contributions. I'm sure we will be able to be our own advocates, right? And be able to be prepared to have that conversation when we're ready for that to occur. Next, please, Carlos Horta, please provide your insights and your remarks, please.
Buenas noches.
I think
I'm sorry. I may have skipped. Sorry, Lorraine. In just a second. I'm sorry.
Well, hi, everyone. My name is Lorraine Lee. It's great to meet you all. I want to start off thanking Raf. I think I was one of those people who he met at the very last chance that he was taking a contribution. Currently, I run my company called Rise Learning Solutions. As part of that, I'm a keynote speaker. I'm an instructor for LinkedIn Learning and Stanford Continuing Studies. And before all that, I worked 10 plus years in editorial roles in tech at companies like LinkedIn and Prezi. My contribution was the chapter How to Become a Strong Communicator, and I focus on presentations and public speaking. And I was because these are often things that professionals dread doing, and it's very scary to a lot of people, but they really are game-changing skills that have really personally accelerated my career over the years and helped me establish a strong presence. And I really believe they can be, some of the biggest differentiators in someone's career. I personally started doing more public speaking kind of on a whim, and it ended up leading to me becoming a speaker and getting to teach at LinkedIn Learning and Stanford. And I just love this topic because it opens the door both within a company if you work for one, or if you are doing something on your own, also opens the doors there as well. And what I'd love the audience to take away from today is that I think the skills you're going to read about in this book are all really learnable. And I think someone mentioned this earlier. It's about working smarter, not harder. And just want all the readers to know that, we all have the capability to internalize these skills and lessons. And I'm just so excited they're all in one place. I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot of new things as well. And just thank you again for having me be part of this book.
Okay, thank you, and we appreciate your contributions, Lorraine. Carlos, I apologize. You're on deck.
No worries. Well, I noticed here in Washington, D.C., I was born in Cuba, so I'm an OG. Very few of us were born in Cuba. I'm a little sad that it's about to end, but my last two corporate gigs were as VP of Chief Diversity Officer at Tyson Foods, and then before that, VP of Corporate Affairs at Carnival Corporation. Thank you for including me, and including all of us, really. This is, I wish I had this book when I started 25 years ago in corporate America. It was super, super helpful. So I'm so glad that it's finally out there, that there's nothing like it out there. My contributions were titled How to Be Politically Savvy. My background is in politics. And so I love politics, and in corporate America, there's lots of politics. So you really understand that. I focused on 5 areas: emotional intelligence, managing down. I think we all know how to manage up, but it's really challenging to manage down. And that will get you in corporate America. Obviously, sponsors and mentors, we all know that. You gotta differentiate yourself from being other Hispanics and other people, other colleagues, to figure out how to do that. And the last one is invest in yourself. We tend not to invest in ourselves when we graduate. Take certificate courses, go to conferences, do all those things, learn something new every year, and that's going to make you a better person. Try things that you're not sure of, but really invest in yourself. The more you invest in yourself, I think the better you're going to be. I would say the takeaways is obviously learn how to be savvy politically. Again, in corporate America, you gotta learn. I would also say you gotta go wider. Make sure that you have people that are different than you around you, that you engage with them. African Americans, Asians, folks from the LGBT community, Native Americans. We tend to cluster around each other as Hispanics. And yeah, we're the largest minority and all of that. But you have to go out and really, I think you learn so much more from having other people. And I learned this lesson because one year I had this brilliant idea that I was going to write during Black History Month. I was going to write about my African American friends. And I'm looking, the month has 28 days. And I asked myself, do I even have 28 African Americans that I can write about? And luckily, I only did it Monday through Friday. So that cut down a few days. But I ended up writing, I had plenty of friends, African American friends. I can't say the same thing for Asian and other groups, but that's what really pushed me to say, hey, I really have to get out there and go beyond the Hispanic. And lastly, ask for help. You can't, nobody does it alone. This is the perfect example that Refugio went out and asked all of us to contribute, to put this together. And so I'm going to learn from it. I'm sure I'm going to learn from it because there's things that I don't know that I still don't know. And you have all these great experts here. So I commend Refugio and everybody that was willing to put this out together for that next generation so they don't have to go through some of the stuff that we went through. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. The last thing you mentioned, ask for help. Right, I think we often all struggle for ask for help, just for the fact of where we're fear of judgment, right? And that's not the intent of asking for help. Right, asking for help is exactly what brought this playbook in our hands. So thank you for your insights. Next, Luz, please.
Greg, we're going to pivot. We're going to go with, I think, Marissa. She joined.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. I did not know. Hi, Marissa.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me on Refugio. This is a real honor, and I'm so incredibly proud. Books. I am the SVP of Global Brand and Consumer Marketing at the NFL. I know when Refugio approached me and asked me to contribute to this book, I was not only proud to do it and happy to do it. But I told them, you should have thought about this, Refugio, 20 years ago. I know everybody's saying that. I wrote my section about executive presence. It's something that sometimes is very mystical, right? You hear that feedback a lot. You probably hear the feedback, oh, you need to exhibit more executive presence, and you don't know often what that is or how to build it. And to me, what it means is really having this confidence and exerting this confidence so others follow you and you inspire others. And it starts with a vision. It's having confidence in yourself, in the vision that you have and your mission, and really conveying that to others in a way that persuades them to follow you. It is something that you need to exude confidence in yourself when you're not in the room. And a lot of times you hear the decisions that are made about you and your career are often when you're not in the room. And it is your executive presence when you are in the room and when others see you that often carries you when you're not. So very, very important skill set to have, added to all the important things that all of these incredible Latinos have been speaking about today. I'm very happy to be part of it. And I'm still reading through the book, Refugio and others, and I've learned so much already. So thank you again. And thanks to everybody that contributed to this, because it's a real blessing for all of us Latinos.
Yes, thank you, Marissa, for your contributions. And oftentimes you hear from different leaders about that executive presence, and you're exactly right about how that translates into those discussions when you're not in a room, right? And we've all heard about that. You may be contributing to your respective business units really will carry you, in those discussions, like you said, when you're not in the room. So, very insightful. If we can, Luz, if you are present, can you please provide your insights as well?
Oh, of course, and I am, and you know what? Third time is a charm. So, I think we'll just leave with that for the rest of the meeting. But my name is Luz Perez. I'm going to use Refugio's words, as Dominican. I was or migrated to New York City when I first arrived to the U.S., but right now I live in Virginia. I am a director business partner at CDW, currently operating as a head of HR for CDW Canada. But I do the job essentially remotely from my home in Virginia. I am a co-author to Latinos Rising Up in HR. I have book sisters here, so a huge shout out to them, and thank you to all of you and to them as well for the contributions that you've made to this, I would say, wonderful book. I had the pleasure of also being in person at the book launch, and the energy was just super contagious. So I just couldn't be prouder of the movement, essentially, that you created with this book, and just thank you for really taking the time to, I would say, generally give back to our community. I am also a board member to the National Hispanic Corporate Council. Of course, if anyone needs any help whatsoever on furthering your agenda with essentially Latinos in corporate America, we're here to help. So very small plug there, if I may. My specific section or small but mighty contribution is what I call it, is on how to ask for promotion as well. I made a joke at the last time, that with 3 amazing contributors on this very topic, if you're not promoted after you read the book, we may have a problem. So hopefully you have a lot of great insights and takeaways, because the one thing that we need to do, and why I wanted to participate in this book, is to really challenge the statistics. We know that they are not the best today, but through this book, and I would say generally your effort, we're going to make sure that we're changing those numbers and, in an upward mobility. And if I had one big key takeaway to take today, and it's not just about how to ask for a promotion, by the way, my part is really the basics. When to do it, how to do it, and essentially every single step along the way that you should follow. And if you follow those steps, again, hold me accountable, right? If for some reason that doesn't work. But in everything that you do, and as you read the book, just realize your full potential and really empower yourself. And if I may, give yourself permission to be unapologetic you, right? I think oftentimes we try to assimilate, or, that's essentially what is expected of us. Let's break the statistics there too. Be you in anything that you do. And trust me when I tell you, you will succeed. So again, thank you to all the panelists. Thank you to Refugio, and we'll send it to the next contributor.
Okay. Thank you so very much, Luz. One of the things you mentioned is be you, right? Be authentically you. I really do appreciate your contributions. Next, I'd like to ask Dave Tang. Dave, great to see you again. I know that we've had our paths crossed at FV, and great to see you. Please.
I was just going to say, Greg, this feels like old times seeing you again here on a virtual call. But obviously today we're going to talk about something even more important than the projects that we talked about when we were together at AbbVie. For those who I haven't met, which is probably going to be most of you, my name is Dave Tang. I'm based in Irvine, California. I'm actually a second generation American of Chinese descent, born and raised in LA. I did spend some time on the East Coast for both school and work, and then now again back in Irvine. As of this summer, I'm retired, and that's why Greg says he hasn't seen me around lately. Just retired this summer, but I had served the past 3 years as the Vice President of Global Medical Operations for AbbVie, and that's actually my connection to REF. In fact, one of the things that I really appreciated in the opportunity to work with REF was that we had an opportunity to create a new department, and this was our group that was focused on strategic initiatives and communications for our medical operations team, and really to have Ref come and just volunteer his expertise. He said, I would just like to learn more about the medical affairs organization and offer to work together with us, but more importantly, lead the group to help us shape what the department has now become. And it's since then been a group that really is a major impact within the medical affairs organization at AbbVie. So I just wanted to thank Ref for that, and also the great partnership that we had. One thing I wanted to share about the opportunity to participate was that Ref had actually spoken with me about the opportunity to contribute to the Latino Leadership Playbook. This is obviously before I had decided to retire. And one of the things that we talked about was also thinking about those things that we wish we knew back in the day. And I should also say that as I'm here on this background with all the X's and O's behind me, the playbook piece really resonated, I think, with both of us, because both of us are big football fans. So hopefully, Marissa, you'll be glad to hear that as well. When I think about a playbook, what it really does is set us up for all those different opportunities, all those different situations that come up in a all these experts together. It's an opportunity to then pull together that insight, those options. And if you have had a chance to take a look at the book, you see the do's and don'ts, even a kind of a quick way to take a look at, how I might address it without having to read an entire section again. And that's where I think it brings so much value. And for myself as a leader, I really appreciate what Carlos had said earlier. I'm blessed in that I was born and raised in California, and you look around and you see the diversity there. And I would say that as I look around organizations, we're starting to see improvements there. But as we start looking at leadership, we don't necessarily see that represented. And I think we can all agree that as you think about increasing that diversity, leadership improves the companies. Then ultimately it makes our country better. And that's why for me, it's something that I'm just so thankful to have the opportunity to contribute to this playbook that Ref had pulled together. The section that I contributed was actually related to after you get that promotion that Brenda and Luz had coached you on how to ask for that promotion, was really about transition. And it was an early learning for me. It was an aha moment for me. By the time I had gotten a chance to change companies, and this is when I started as a vice president with a new organization, I had assumed that what helped me succeed in the past would help me in this new organization. And in fact, the reason I was so confident was during my interviews, a lot of what I heard seemed to really line up with what I thought would work well. And I think the real aha moment for me was that I actually gave an example of when I was in a meeting, and it turns out that within every culture there's microcultures within the different departments, and the importance of just not making assumptions in those early days, especially if you're there as a new leader, a newly promoted leader. One of the most important things you can do is learn and observe, and really then plan your transition to make a much smoother transition than if perhaps you might jump into it. And in the example I gave, where I actually had to do some damage control afterwards, because again, some of those assumptions that were made. And if I had this handbook, I would say with the playbook, I would have avoided this situation. So, that's what I'd like to leave the group with, is that, as you think about all the different situations you might be coming across as a leader, as you start your journey across your career, I hope you find the playbook valuable and can refer back. Hand it back to you. Thanks.
Thank you, Dave. Very interesting. I think we've all been through different transitions, right? I mean, as we advance our careers. We've all gone through transitions, and really putting some thoughtful planning into that transition into your new role is very important, because you can make an impact right away. And again, having this book and all of these different opportunities to read through will really influence what that plan may look like. Thank you for that. Next, Melania, if you were, I'm sorry, Melanie, if you were on the call.
I am. Hi, my name is Dr. Melanie Rodriguez. I am based in Houston, Texas, and I am founder and CEO of Elevate Latinas, a executive leadership and coaching company. I have had the opportunity to spend some time talking to Ref about this book and what it means to both him and to the community that we're contributing to here. I am so excited to be part of this, and just even listening to some of the contributors already and the many amazing things that you are already doing and the amazing insights that you're bringing to the table is tremendous. And I'm so thankful to be part of it. I think this is an opportunity for us to really connect together. And that's really what my contribution to this book is about. I am found in the chapter on how to use your Latino culture to your advantage. Specifically, the piece that I talk about talks about how you can leverage the value of community in the work that you do. I personally happen to be a very extroverted person and love to and we have had the opportunity to talk a lot to Ref and to Jai and many of you as well about a number of things, but what I have learned along the way is it's not only about how you really create community around you and how you spend the time with folks in the environments that you're operating in, but it's also about being really intentional and strategic and understanding how to use that to your advantage. So I talk a little bit about what my experience was growing up in corporate America over the first 20 years of my career, really focusing in on how I leveraged that opportunity of getting to know people and understanding the different groups that I was able to connect with across the business, and really help to make connections and use that information to become more of a conduit and more of a connector of people and ideas. That's really what this is all about. And if you really think about it, that's what this book is all about. This idea of leveraging that value of community is exactly what this book is all about. Ref took that opportunity to think about how he really wanted to leverage the information that all of us contributors are experts in and have experienced throughout the years, and really add the meat and the color to this book and the work that he has been able to put together. What I can appreciate most is that we have had a lot of conversations on the tremendous amount of inspirational content that's out there, right? We can hear podcasts, we can read books, and there's a lot of really great information on so many wonderful leaders who have come before us and done some tremendous work. And I love the fact that this book really puts it into action. And this is where the rubber meets the road. It's not just about being inspired, but it's also about what do you actually do with that information. And that's how I like to connect with the companies and the people that I work with, is really thinking about, so what? Now you have all of this wonderful information. So what are you going to do with it? And how does it really become real for you in your context? I've had the opportunity to work in talent management and in leadership development for many, many years. And one thing that I recognize about the many companies that I've had the opportunity, leadership is leadership, and how these companies talk about the various things that make a good leader can be very similar across a lot of the conversations. But what this book brings to it, and what each of these insights that this community is bringing to it, is that Latino culture, that Latino lens that really brings into the conversation, what does this mean for me, into the experiences that I bring to this. Definitely encourage people to really think about, as you consider the the various experiences that you have been through in terms of both your leadership expertise and your lived experiences in general. How can this really apply for you? If I think about, building community and really working together to build your brand, to understand what your presence looks like, to understand how you are networking strategically, I always encourage people to remember that being intentional in that work is extremely important. It's not just about who you know and what they can do for you. It's also about what you can bring to the table and how you can really demonstrate and advocate for the value that you're adding in that space. And I also really want people to remember that you have to have and recognize what your ability is to make a strategic impact in the spaces that that you're coming to. If you can't advocate for yourself and be able to communicate your value in those contexts and with the people that you're connecting with, they're never going to be able to become advocates for you if you don't support them and help them with understanding what that looks like off the bat. So I think all of these pieces that we've talked about along the way really connect well together in terms of understanding how to advocate for yourself, understanding how to inform people of all of the good work that you do so that you can advocate for your promotion, or you can work on what you're shaping what other people perceive your brand to be, and really focusing in on how you hone in on creating that community and creating those relationships, nurturing those relationships so that you can create that lasting image that you want for yourself. So thank you again for allowing us to be a part of this. Excited for this journey.
Thank you, Melanie. You brought up a couple of concepts that really resonated with me. Is the strategic connection for doing my day job. It's all about that. It's all about the relationships I'm building to be able to inspire to get to be able to leverage in that sense of community. So thank you for your contributions. Next, Xavier, please.
Good evening. My name is Atilano, and thank you again, Ref, for giving me the opportunity to be part of this remarkable group of leaders. Already Melanie and I had an opportunity to talk today. I had not seen Melanie in 23 years, so already I'm benefiting from being part of this group. So I currently reside in Austin, Texas, but I grew up in Houston. My mom is from Venezuela, and my dad is of Mexican descent. I would say I was blessed because both of my parents were college professors, and they definitely instilled in me the values of giving back to my community. From a corporate perspective, I did spend 16 years working for companies such as Dell, Bank of America, and Cigna. I worked as an engineer and a project manager. But during that time period, I was also running a coaching company. And so present day, I am a public speaker, I'm a workshop facilitator, and a coach. And I speak on topics such as how do you own your inner power, how do you develop your personal brand, and then how do you develop a stronger mindset to achieve success. This year was a tremendous year. I had the amazing opportunity to speak in front of 20,000 people in India, and it completely changed my life. And so as part of this book, I contributed the chapter on the power of removing limiting beliefs to make bold moves. And this is really an important topic for me because it touches upon some of the learnings, many of the learnings from a very dark period in my life where I did not know how to manage my mindset. I did not know what limiting beliefs were, and it definitely took a toll on me. But by then understanding the power of the mind and owning my own power, I was able to find success and then help others in the process. And so today, I'd like the audience to understand that every single one of us has an inner greatness. And yes, our superpower can simply be being exactly who we are. So I want folks to read the chapter to know that not shying away from our truth and allowing our voice to shine is the only way to break generational trauma and limiting beliefs. And it's also the best way to create a richer future for generations to come. So super excited to be part of this group. And again, thanks, Ref, for recognizing this in me. And I look forward to catching up with all of you and meeting you in the future.
leverage that for our own success. Next, Beatrice, if you are available.
Well, hello, everybody. What an honor to be here. I didn't meet you in Chicago, but so I feel like I was there in essence. So amazing. And a lot of you I already met some one way or another. But about myself, my name is Beatrice Albini Ruiz. I am originally from Colombia, and I migrated here over 20 years ago. I'm currently residing in Montclair, New Jersey, and I am the owner and founder of Prime View Coaching, coaching and personal development organization focusing on So that being said, my chapter was on negotiation, and I am very passionate about this topic because I was part of that statistic. I did not know how to negotiate my salary. I didn't know that that was possible. And so I took it upon myself to master the art of negotiation, read every book, so personal on the topic, and taken several courses on it. So I'm very passionate about teaching Latinx talent and BIPOC talent about this because there is, as is evident by the numbers, we need to bridge that gap. And part of it is understanding that we need the skill set, yes, but it's also a part of the mindset. So part of what Xavier, you said about that is very important. Sometimes we need to give ourselves permission to ask because we are not even having given us that opportunity. So even if we have all the skills, and I cannot stress this enough, even if we tell you to the teeth how to do that, if you are not believing in yourself, it's going to be very, very difficult to ask for that number. So that being said, I am to this book is such an amazing, and I know we all sound like a broken record here saying like, I wish I had this book when I started my career, because believe me, it would avoid a lot of pain. But anyway, everything happens for a reason. And sometimes, again, the obstacle becomes the way. And we have to learn. And I'm so glad that we have this playbook right now, because it is definitely the one book that I wish I had for sure. So I can't wait to recommend it. Every chapter, I can feel the passion, I can feel the intention, and it's so important to continuing helping others behind you, lifting each other up. Okay, so other than that, I think the other takeaway that I want to stress here, since I have this opportunity, is really audience to understand that this book is a testament that yes, we can. There's no doubt about it. We need to stop doubting ourselves as in general as a community, and just really going forward. And if we need a proof, well, here it is. There is no more excuses. So, with that being said, I want to hand it back. Thank you so much here. And if you haven't done so, please connect with me on LinkedIn or in Instagram. I love to connect with all of you and having some cafecito chats on the side. Thank you.
Call to action, right? That's great to hear, and thank you for your contributions. Next, Gavino.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gavino Martinez. I currently live in Miami, but I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. I'm a regional operations manager with World Electric, which is part of Sonebar. They're based in Paris, and we are the largest electrical distributor in the world. And I don't know if this was the connection or not, but I actually started reading the book and came to find out that Ref did some electrical work when he was younger. So perhaps this was part of it. But I've been in the industry for about 20 plus years, and once I joined the current company, I was looking at the ERGs that the company had, and they did not have a Hispanic ERG. I came to find out that actually the Hispanics were the largest minority in the company in the U.S., being a global company. So I inquired about actually starting an ERG, Hispanic ERG. And so I'm the current founder and president of the Sonapar USA Hispanos Unidos ERGs. And through this, and through the ERG and getting to meet other people, as I started looking out for organizations, actually another contributor of this book introduced me to Ref, and that's how we got to know each other. So I want to thank you, Ref, for the opportunity. This is the first in my life. I love and my passion is to help Hispanics, to advocate for Hispanics within, corporate America. And this definitely gives me an opportunity to even get this on a bigger spectrum with this Latino Leadership Playbook. So what did I contribute to the book is the chapter about how to be vocal with your perspectives. And also Latinos, there's a saying that calladito o calladita te ves más bonito, más bonita, right? And we always, we're always very vocal when we're with our friends, with our families. But for some reason, when we are in corporate America, we stay quiet. We get, we're taught to, just to do as we're told. And we don't really vocalize what we're thinking about. And I think this is, very important for us to, if we want to continue moving forward in corporate America, we have to be vocal. And one of the key takeaways that I have from here is definitely I'm honored and humbled to be here joined with so many leaders that I'm sure, and many of you, this is the first time that I'm getting to meet you here virtually and personally on the book launch on October 6th. And there's so much more for me to learn from each and every one of you, and also, from the playbook. But some of the things that are taught in here in the playbook about promotion, about mentorship and sponsorship, I lived them myself, and I didn't have anybody else to ask. It took me 10 years, being in one job and barely, making minimum increases. But then, I continue to search for myself, not having a playbook like this, and try to find how much was I worth. And in a matter of like 3.5 years, I pretty much like tripled the amount that I had made in the 10 years prior, right? So I think this is important. Yes, there's a big difference between mentorship and sponsorship. I didn't know that until 2 years ago when I think I found my sponsor, which is the current president of my company. And I didn't know the difference. I also found that, myself without having this playbook. So I think I just, this is a call out for everyone to please just take the time to read the playbook. I'm sure it's going to save a lot of, months and years of doing your own research. That is right here in front of you with all these amazing leaders. So again, thank you very much, Ref, for the opportunity. And it's a pleasure being a part of this book with all of you.
Thank you, Gabino, for your insights. One thing that you mentioned is, showing up differently, right? And it's asking those questions. It's being curious. You can do yourselves a lot of favors by doing that, right? You show up differently within your organization. So very, very insightful, and thank you for your contributions. Miguel, please, the floor is yours.
I start with a quick story on probably how I got in contact with Refugio. I think it was a LinkedIn connection a while ago, maybe 6 months ago. And he and I had a good chat, probably spoke for 60 minutes. And asked him what he was doing, learned a lot about him, and he has been on the track that I've been in for a long time. So a little bit about me: I grew up in New York City, born in El Barrio, 110th Street, Lexington Avenue. Grew up on the Lower East Side. Lived on the island of Puerto Rico for 8 years. Ran the service organization for Xerox Corporation. On that transfer, so I had 120 employees in my organization. And all my managers were Latino, so that wasn't a problem. Because Xerox Corporation did it right a long time ago by bringing people from the island to the island, or from other places in the States to the island, to develop them in leadership positions. So a challenge that I would put out to the enterprise level companies on a global basis is, who are you hiring, and why aren't you hiring locals, and develop succession planning to help those people grow in the environments that they represent your company. So that's what I did. I've enjoyed what I do. I've had this. I'm on my third career. Worked for 2 Fortune 500 companies. Retired from one where I was responsible for an organization of 1,500 people and $250 million in top line revenue contribution. Own my own business in New York City, so I'm a bit of an entrepreneur as well as being a maverick. Soy Boricua, and I pushed the envelope. So I didn't grow up timid, growing up on the Lower East Side of New York City in the projects. So in one generation, my mom and dad had Papi had a 4th grade education, Mom had a 3rd grade education, and we lived below the poverty line in New York City. For those of you who know what New York City looks like, it's on the Lower East Side, those red brick buildings. And in one generation, I was able to go through a lot of effort, energy, support, mentorship, guidance, and feedback from growing up in public housing to working for 2 Fortune 500 companies and being the executive of one of them before I retired. And then I was called back out of retirement by an associate friend and colleague, which, by the way, many of you have mentioned on this call already, to join the dean's office as the director of business development for the College of Business at Cal State University, San Marcos. So I work with, and San Marcos, Cal State is a HSI. 50% of our student body is Hispanic. So I'm doing exactly what I want to do, when I want to do it, for the kind of leadership that I respect and the type of leadership that I can bring to both the university, most importantly to the future, which is our students. And from that standpoint, I'm excited about joining this team. I am really impressed, Refugio. Man, you must pay big bucks to get all these people to participate in this collection of ideas, principles, and values. But commitment to Refugio was, to the best of my ability, if I can represent his brand out on the West Coast with a whole bunch of Hispanics in a way that's meaningful, impactful, long-lasting, with conviction, then I'm always available to do that. I sit on 2 or 3 boards. I do a lot of volunteer work. I'm a Rotarian. I help transitioning active duty special operations forces transfer their knowledge from what they've been doing for 20 or 30 years in defense of our country into civilian workforce candidates. So I do a lot in workforce placement and development through the university. And my topic is emotional intelligence, which I probably grew while I was living in the projects or the Lower East Side or hanging out in the streets in El Barrio, but I didn't I didn't use the term emotional intelligence because I didn't know what it was. And so I teach on the 4 elements of emotional intelligence, from self-awareness to self-management to social awareness, as well as relationship management, which is the strongest one, in my view, of what most people need, especially in the underserved communities that we all represent. And Refugio, I didn't say this before because we didn't have time, but I love the backdrop. I love the X's and O's. The playbook is totally in alignment. Although it looks like it's football, we can do the X's and O's for our students. Great metaphor for our faculty. And I've got to tell you, I talked to a lot of business owners in the course of my interactions representing the university and the students. And quite frankly, the biggest opportunities I see, and many of you have captured them. I can't remember who. I'll give credit to all the people that said the following. The word wasn't used, but it's called, I use succession planning. And that to me is absent in most corporations in a good way. And one of the requests I'm going to make of Refugio after you've launched and made some money, my friend, is to create the workbook if it isn't done. I think you referenced the workbook in the book, but I couldn't get to the website, the landing page, to see what it contains. But that workbook is going to help all of us, I believe, with knowledge transfer and also call to actions, as well as the possibility of creating more ERGs on a corporate level, which I believe is very important. And somebody said something else that was awesome. We have to get better at soliciting and inviting mentorship, but more importantly, sponsorship. And I'm available to everyone on this call as best as possible. Please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I've connected with you already. I'm looking forward to having a conversation. And I will close with this. As Cesar Chavez used to say in the 80s, si se puede. And then transformational change that I benefit to all those nonprofits that usually don't think they're a business, but they are. So I'm going to hand it back over to you, Greg. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself. This is an awesome team. This is a top star, A-rated team that's going to make transformational change, I believe, in our various areas throughout the next couple of years, if not more. So thank you.
Thank you, Miguel. I really appreciate your comments, and what a great opportunity you have to be able to bring this to different universities and students, right? Because that's the next generation. Ralph, you mentioned it very early on, that the college student has a playbook that they can hit the ground running with when they hit the workforce. So, Miguel, thank you again. Next, please, Yenny. Please.
Yes. Hi. I need to apologize because I am under the weather, and believe me that my picture is much better than my live video. So if it's okay, I would just keep my camera off. But I wouldn't miss the opportunity to be here. And I am so happy to be part of this group, and it's an honor also to as Coach Jenny, and I am so happy to share with other coaches here at this stage. I'm originally from Mexico City. I grew up there. I came to the US in 2000. And I had a 25-something career in corporate communications, in PR, in tech. And in 2018, I was part of a big 3,000 people layoff, and I decided then to start my own business. Being a Latina, an immigrant in a mostly white environment, as in the company that I was working for, I knew that there was something to be done to empower Latinos. So I created my company, and my mission is to find, and not to find, but to enable spaces where people belong, that people are empowered to participate, and that we all have equal opportunities to thrive. So part of the work that I do is leadership development. I do training, coaching, and also strategic planning for ERGs. And I am super excited because I have been working, and Miguel, what you were sharing really resonated with me. I have been working with UCSD here in San Diego, with their group of undocumented students. So I have an access to talk to these amazing young people to empower them to develop their leadership skills, and as everybody has mentioned here, to not sell out on who they are in order to fit in, but actually to find their authentic voice. So when Refugio, he actually sent me a text, and I was in the gym, to inviting me to participate, to get home, to talk to him, because it was so exciting to be part of this, to have this amazing opportunity to contribute. I know that some of you are already experienced authors. This is my first opportunity, but I am super excited to be able to have an impact and to empower our community. So intentionally made it like a coaching session. You know, if you are about to negotiate the salary for a new business, you want to follow the steps that I share. It includes some goals, some how to shift, and Javier talked about it, and Beatriz as well, about the mindset. Normally negotiating, I mean, anything, but particularly when it's a salary, it's a hard conversation, right? So part of the mindset is like, okay, it's me against them. So how can you change that to make it more a collaborative effort? It's not that you have as much interest in working for this company as the company wants to hire you. So my invitation here is to do that shift in the mindset, and based on that, be able to have different kind of conversations. I work with a lot of people in one-on-one settings, not only Latinos, but mostly Latinos. And a lot of times the conversations are, how do I negotiate my salary now that I'm in? Because I just got this job. The salary was not what I wanted, but I just wanted to get into the company, thinking that I was going to, once I show what I can contribute, people would, offer me a promotion within the first year or give me a bonus or something. And the reality is that almost never happens, right? So it's so crucial for anyone who's negotiating an initial salary to really think about this. And if it's not with the first company, go to the second and the third, and you will find what you are worth. And so anyway, I could continue. I could do an audiobook about this, which I am not going to do right now. But thank you again for the opportunity. It's an honor to share this virtual stage with everyone. And I really hope that this is not the first. This is the first, but not the last of many contributions. So thank you again.
Thank you, Yenny. Appreciate your comments. And it's all about collaboration, right? I mean, I'm tasked on a daily basis to not tasks, right? I want to collaborate with the different parts of the organization. So again, relationship building and collaboration is where the magic is at. Please, I invite Consistence to join us.
Hello, everybody. So honored to be a part of this incredible and such a passionate group of people. Thank you so much, Refugio, for making me a part of this incredible journey. I'm really excited with this, and I can't wait to get hold of my copy of my book, because after listening to all the speakers, it's been awesome. Great experiences, and it will be very useful for anybody who would read this book. So my name is Kshitij Sharma, and I'm based out of Bangalore, India. And I am an executive coach with over 3,000 hours of experience. And my specialization, and I'm passionate about supporting leaders who are on the threshold of C-suite roles to step up their executive presence so that they can reach those roles. And that is precisely my contribution in this book, as well as I am also contributing with a chapter on executive presence. And the reason why I'm very passionate about this subject is I've seen, in my so many years of coaching such leaders and in my own personal corporate journey, that a lot of leaders, despite having a lot of technical expertise, domain knowledge, they garner a lot of respect from their teams. Despite that, they are not able to, they just plateau at a particular level. They are not able to move up to the higher levels. And the reason is a lack of a powerful executive presence. And that's precisely what we have kind of shared some practical tips in this book, in terms of how one can really build their power of the superpower that people So, what I would like to share my thought with this audience is executive presence is the impact that a leader creates on its ecosystem when they rediscover their innate greatness within. It's all about rediscovering that. So, yeah, thank you so much for this great opportunity, Refugio.
Thank you, Consistent John, on your insights and your guidance to the team. Please, America, if you're available, please feel free to join us.
Sure, I want to take my glasses off. It's the light is reflecting glare. Well, I am honored to be here. I am very appreciative of Ref thanking me for this collaboration. Where I talk about how to negotiate your salary. I have been in the HR field in talent acquisition, talent attraction, and diversity for over 18 years at different Fortune 100 companies like Pepsi and Comcast and Accenture and Verizon. And I've been over. I have been in technology over 10 years with those companies, and most recently the diversity recruiting strategy and operations for the entire company, basically building the diverse talent pipeline for the company across all divisions, business regions, levels. And work in those type of companies, I got to see what the companies are looking for, what corporate America is looking for when they're trying to attract and onboard the talent, and also the challenges that Latinos have when looking for jobs and preparing themselves for the workplace. So from that perspective, I decided to write my own book. And my book came out 2 or 3 months ago. So when I was talking to Ref about the topic of how to negotiate your salary and how to advance your career, it was really relevant to me, since I was also in the process of writing the book. My book title is Courage, 12 Best Practices to Advance Your Career. And I talk about having courage, having faith, believing in yourself, believing what you do, having grit, and having the ability to adapt yourself and be flexible and be open to new ideas and new opportunities, and also new approaches, and being intentional about how you go about it, about how to build your career, how to position yourself for success. And the other topic is also knowing how to network in person and virtually, which is always very important. And through this work in talent acquisition and HR, one of the topics again is how to negotiate your salary. Something that the other contributors mentioned, and Jenny, are that the Latinos we're more quiet. We think that as long as we're hard, we will get rewarded, and it doesn't work nowadays. Things have changed dramatically over the last few years with COVID, after COVID, all the racial injustice issues going on around the country and the world. And we have to be more competitive as the Latinos. And this is why I decided to write my book, and also why I wanted to participate, to contribute to this Ref's book, because Latinos have to be more proactive and assertive and really more intentional about how they go about their careers, how they approach their careers, and as you know, since it is ultra competitive out there in the marketplace, we have to be ready for to take on new opportunities, to take on more responsibilities, and then just be on par with other talent and professionals out there. I have also been leader with organizations like Prospanica, where I was in the Chicago chapter leader, a national board member, and a number of other organizations, always supporting the Hispanic community, and I'm honored to be here. My takeaway for the audience really is just to put out a call out for folks to take charge about on their careers and be more proactive and assertive and seek out and leverage any resources, either virtually or LinkedIn or YouTube, or talking to other folks or their networks through their universities or jobs to get the information that they need to position themselves for success. But I am gonna stop there. I can also go on and on about it. Folks. Thank you.
Okay, Omega, thank change quite a bit, even within our organization. So, being open to new opportunities, with that comes, additional responsibilities, etc. So, thank you for your insights. And last and not least, Eduardo, please join us with your remarks.
Thank you for that. And thank you for Ref for inviting me to be section for this evening. By way of introduction, my name is Eduardo Arabu. I'm the Chief Executive Officer at the National Hispanic Corporate Council, the Latino DEI Collective, and the Consortium of Latino Employee Organization, also known as CLEO. I'm based in Chicago, Venezuelan in background, and I've also worked in HR, government affairs, and now leading. We're a little different from some of our other sister Hispanic organizations that we focus on the corporate development strategy for Latino. So we're looking at talent, customer, supplier, community relations, and the ERG. So all the stuff that's been said tonight is wonderful from a professional and individual development. The other half of the equation is making sure that corporate America will pull us, will sponsor us, and will provide resources and opportunity and job placement. So as we get more and more prepared for more senior roles and through our career in corporate America, we need companies to also meet us halfway and pull us through the rank. And so that's how we're a little different from our organization. My contribution can be found on page 168. We'll talk about Latino cultural attribute as they show up in the workplace setting. Some might view that as a negative. Not ready, doesn't speak up, doesn't self-promote, and other key items like collectivism, respeto, paternalism, how all that shows up as we are part of our Latino, identity. And so we should express that as a superpower, but it also requires educating others on who we are as a community, the differences, the similarity, and how we show up to work as well. Understanding that you can choose whether to play or not. But if you do play, you have to understand what are some of the formal and informal rules for career development. Those who get promoted from a certain business function, those who accept, different rotational program, those who, what is the pathway for where you want to go, and how have others gotten to that role in terms of development and so forth. So understanding the rules and so forth, I think it's important as well. As we continue to hear about how the ever-growing Hispanic segment continue to grow, and in terms of population, customer base, small business, workforce, all the key demographics that we are familiar, I think it's important for Latino leaders to leverage cultural identity and that competency to lead companies and organizations. Who better to help companies grow, maximize their corporate performance, be competitive, and understand that the U.S. Hispanic market is a critical and important role for that. And what better way is you as Latino leaders and future and current executives to lead that, that strategy forward. Finally, on behalf community, and for convening all of us. In time for the book, and finally for allowing us to collaborate. So on behalf of all the co-authors, we'd love to show you our support. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, Eduardo. As I sit here and hear the contributions that each and every one of you provided, what hasn't escaped my mind is the wide array of experiences from all the different industries that you all represent. It's your contribution, right? That to the playbook and the advancement of the Latino community. So thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Ralph, I'm going to hand it over to you. I believe we're going to go into the Q&A session at this time.
Hey, Greg, if you can switch slides, I just want to cover a couple of kind of wrap-up slides, and we can do update with Q&A. So if the tech team can run, yeah. So to wrap things up, and we'll get to Q&A. I just want to make sure we have enough time to cover these. I leave the book. The last chapter, as you guys read it, it's these three pillars, right? It's unity. There was again, Claudia did some great work with some of the data around unity, and I think right now like 55% of the Latino population feels united. So we have work to do, and that's why this book is also important. You look at the screen here, all the contributors, it brings all of us together, Latinos, Latinas, and all the various nationalities. It is critical that we support each other in this. It's critical that we're our biggest cheerleaders and provide access, opportunities, all those things. Myself, I sponsor mentees, help in any way I can, whether it's connecting, whether it's advocating for. Those are the things that are extremely important to me, and I'm hoping that all of us can drive that unity across our culture and our community. The second piece, which is the most important, I talked about this earlier, is around action. And I heard some about the workbook, refugioatilano.com, and I think if you go to about or the book, or anyhow, there's links on the book tab. It's basically a free workbook. That's what I'm getting at. I created some nice templates for you guys, for all the audience. Download the templates, start mapping out your journey. What I'd like to talk about is bringing your development to life. It's again cool. You could sit there and you can read it, but until you actually start mapping out your journey and what you're going to focus on, make it like 2 or 3 things at a time, right? In a given quarter, and bring those things to your leader. Bring them to your mentor, your sponsor, whoever it is. But the more you write it down, the more you talk about it, you bring it to life. Bring it to life, you start to develop, and when you start to develop. So really, that's the essence of this thing. And then also for every company, or whether you're in a company or a school, whatever it is, I have this concept of the Latino Leadership Club. Greg and I played a little bit with this concept last year at AbbVie. But develop. It's basically an action-oriented leadership club, if you will. Get a group, go deep on topics, executive presence, communication, whatever it is. Go deep and go hard. Talk about the wins, talk about the losses, right? Talk about examples and what you're seeing in senior leaders or what you've experienced yourself. But get that discussion going. the more you start talking in this way, the more you read and apply yourself, it changes everything for you and for everybody you touch. Even in the book, I think in the introduction I say, the discussion is going to change of why, being frustrated why you didn't get a job versus now it's like, what job am I going to get next? And that's the purpose and the power of the book, is it really tees you up for your next step and the next step of others, and that's the whole point of it. And then finally, accountability. Let's hold each other to a high bar, and I'm not saying everybody has to get promoted, and everybody has different situations in life, and I totally appreciate and understand that. But for those who are frustrated and who want to accelerate their careers, just don't know how, or don't have that mentor sponsor, this book is a book of sponsors, is a book of mentors, is a book of insights of everything you need to know to drive your career forward and accelerate. Really, I'm not talking about grow, I mean literally accelerate, how to work smart, how to advocate for yourself, how to be bold. These are all heavy hitter concepts, heavy hitter chapters with heavy hitter insights from some of the great people on this call. So with that, next slide, Craig or team. And just to kind of wrap up before final Q&A, and this is a last bonus section or bonus chapter included at the end of the book. I got a lot of questions, or I shouldn't say requests, from non-Latinos. Specifically, I'll just call it the white people, basically saying, "Hey, how can we lean in and help?" And instead of just saying, "Hey, mentor us, sponsor us," which means nothing. Kind of to what Beatrice spoke about earlier, it's really, getting into our mindset, understanding our cultural kind of scripts and the barriers that come along with those scripts, and then helping us, number two, blast through those barriers. And then three, once we kind of get those barriers, then provide the access, provide the experience and the opportunities, and then finally hold us to a high standard of accountability. And also, this is a mutual thing. It's not us just taking, as Latinos, we also got to give back to our mentors and sponsors, et cetera. So just wanted to show that this is the framework that's outlined in the book. Please use it to educate and to engage with non-Latinos, is how to plug into us and read that chapter and then go deep and play with it. And let me know how it goes. But I just want to have a total solution from all vantage points. So, I'd like to leave this. This is this has been a very long journey this year. But I want to especially thank Yai Vargas. Yai, sitting on the call, thank you immensely for everything. We've had incredible discussions, incredible, just relationship interaction. We have a passion for the same thing. We're very philosophically very aligned. So thank you for everything. Jackie, Gabi, and her team, strategic partners, everybody use Big Factor Media for their book. Trust me, you'll be in great hands. They do everything. They go above and beyond. Even flying and driving back from Cleveland to get books for time for the book launch party. And then finally, Greg, thanks for emceeing, being a great friend, a great partner throughout this process. You've been there from the start, and you're here at the end to close things out. So thank you. So with that, I think we have like 7 minutes left. I'll take any questions for me or the contributors. So Gabi and team, let us know if you have anything for us.
We have one question. What is your personal definition of leadership?
Yeah, for me, it's simple. It's the ability to influence others. Bottom line, if you can lead, you don't have to have a title to be a leader. You could be a high school student, you could be a college student, wherever you are, early career. If you can come up with a vision and a conviction for that vision, and you can have a plan and you can articulate that plan with a compelling story to whoever you need to interact with, whether it's a senior leader or peers, or to Miguel's point, go down, or Carlos's point, go down. If you're able to influence with that type of framework, that's a leader. And those types of things develop your leadership brand, and over time, you'll see that things will start to change for you if you get that reputation as a strong leader. Okay, Gabi, anything else?
I do see Yenny does have her hand up.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to share. I heard this definition of leadership once in a leadership training, and I loved it, which was the leader is someone who makes things happen that wouldn't happen otherwise. And I love that because, as you said, Rev, it's not about the title or like anyone can do that in their own corner, right? So I that's my definition of leadership. I stole it from that training.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Yenny. All right. Any final thoughts from any contributors? I know we have a lot of people on, so any final thoughts before we break for today and this great discussion? All right. Well, thank you all. Greg, again, thank you. Thanks everybody. Please go to Amazon, get your book, or if you need bulk orders, contact me directly. Because Kasitij, thank you for joining from India. I know it's very early for you, so thank you for being a trooper for us. I really appreciate it. Everybody have a great rest of your day, rest of your night, and this will be posted on YouTube. But thank you for everything. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye,
Appreciate it.
everybody.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.